Eddie Sparks had one talent, making bad ideas look like plans. On a night thick with mosquitoes and regret, he crouched behind a bush, watching his advanced alien detection perimeter hum weakly. It was mostly a camping lantern, a car battery, and duct tape, but in his heart, it was NASA-level tech. The camera on his chest blinked red. "All right, Internet," he whispered, "tonight's the night. Either I make first contact, or I get tetanus." Something moved. A shimmer in the dark. The trap snapped. For once, it didn't catch a raccoon or his own pant leg. The figure inside glowed faintly blue, humanoid, feminine, and definitely not from Idaho. Eddie froze mid-cheer. "Oh holy, greetings, citizen of, whatever sector this is." The being stirred, vines of soft light curling off her arms. Her eyes opened, huge and violet, pupils shaped like leaves. She hissed in a melodic tone. "You have captured me, predator." Eddie blinked. "Predator? Lady, I'm unemployed." She sat up, confused, glancing around at the crude net made of paracord and torp. "Is this the snare of flesh feeders? Will you eat me quickly, or must I marinate first?" He stared at her. "Eat you? No. Look, this was a science thing. I just wanted footage." She tilted her head. "Ah, so I am to be consumed for entertainment." He groaned, rubbing his temples. "No, no, no. I'm not eating anyone. I'm human. We don't eat people." She raised an eyebrow, if that was an eyebrow. "You consume animals. Plants. Sometimes even your own kind under ritual conditions." Eddie sputtered. "That was one time at Burning Man and it wasn't human." She flinched as he stepped closer, her glow brightening defensively. "Please, if you must feed, make it swift. I have heard human digestive acids are brutal." Eddie held up his hands. "Digestive acids? Okay, I get that you're confused, but I'm not here to devour you." She blinked slowly. "Then, you do not feed on soft flesh before mating." The forest went silent. Eddie's brain froze mid-thought, mouth hanging open like a broken vending machine. What? No. That's not," he laughed nervously. "That's not foreplay. That's murder." She tilted her head again. "Murder. Another human ritual." He exhaled sharply, pacing in a circle. "All right, this is fine. I've been catfished before, I can handle an alien misunderstanding." He tapped his chest camera. "Okay, audience, apparently first contact involves a lot more HR paperwork than expected." She looked at the device. "You broadcast your hunts?" Eddie winced. "No. It's for documentation. Science. For the algorithm." Her expression softened, curiosity overtaking fear. "You are not a hunter." "I mean, I hunt bargains on eBay, if that counts." He smiled weakly. She considered this. "So, I am safe." He nodded eagerly. "Completely safe." Then she narrowed her eyes. "Then why am I still in the net?" He looked down. "Oh, right." He reached for the cords, fumbling with the knots. "Sorry, my hands are shaking. You're kind of glowing like a rave stick." "Rave stick? Never mind." The rope came loose, and she floated upright, elegant despite confusion. Her skin, or bark, or whatever, shimmered in the moonlight. Eddie felt like he was looking at an intergalactic angel, if angels could disassemble iPhones with their minds. She sniffed the air. "You emit fear. It smells like carbon and regret." He muttered, "Yeah, that's about right." When she tried to speak again, her translator badge flickered, emitting broken English. "I am Lyra, of the Thalon Botanical Division. I study mating habits of primates." Eddie's eyebrows nearly hit orbit. "You, what?" "Mating habits," she repeated matter-of-factly. "Reproductive rituals. Courtship. Feasting." "Oh my God." He staggered back. You think I'm trying to mate with you?" She blinked, genuinely confused. You did trap me under the moonlight. That is traditional in several predatory cultures. That's not dating. That's kidnapping. She frowned. Is there a difference? Yes. One involves consent and dinner reservations. Her glow dimmed slightly. So, no devouring. Zero devouring. Not even a nibble. He gaped. Lady, what kind of research papers are you reading? Her vines curled inward shyly. The archives suggested humans eat out frequently. Eddie almost choked on air. Oh, that's not, okay, context matters. She stared, intrigued. So you do not consume partners externally? No. It's, okay, we're not doing this at 2 a.m. in the woods. For a moment, they just stood there, surrounded by chirping crickets and unspoken embarrassment. Eddie sighed. All right, how about we start over? Hi, I'm Eddie. You're Lyra. You're lost, I'm stupid, and neither of us is getting eaten tonight. Lyra tilted her head, a hint of amusement in her voice. Perhaps tomorrow. He groaned. Please stop saying things that sound like foreplay. She smiled faintly, a flash of soft pink light across her cheeks. Your species is fascinating, Eddie Sparks. Always terrified, always joking. It's called anxiety humor, he muttered. It's our survival mechanism. Then perhaps, she said, stepping closer, we are not so different. My kind deflect fear with photosynthesis. Cool, he said. We deflect it with sarcasm and caffeine. A long silence hung between them before Eddie finally exhaled. Okay. Let's get you somewhere safe before the locals think I've joined a cult. Lyra nodded, following behind as he led the way toward his truck. She murmured, You truly will not consume me. He glanced over his shoulder, smirking. Only emotionally, sweetheart. Her glow brightened again. Ah, a metaphorical feeding. Humans are very strange. Yeah, he said with a grin, opening the door for her, but we're also great conversationalists once you stop thinking we're cannibals. She ducked into the cab of the truck, eyes wide as the headlights flared to life. It's alive, she whispered. You ride beasts of steel. Eddie chuckled. No, but I yell at them like I do. As they drove off, her glow illuminated the dark road ahead. Eddie's mind was racing, trying to process everything. He muttered, mostly to himself, I just wanted a UFO sighting. Now I've got an alien botanist who thinks I'm a hungry pervert. Lyra tilted her head, misunderstanding again. You are not hungry, then. He sighed, smiling despite himself. Not for food. She frowned thoughtfully. Then what do you eat? Eddie paused, eyes glinting with humor. Bad decisions, mostly. And as the truck disappeared down the dirt road, the forest echoed with her confused voice, softly repeating the phrase, bad decisions, nourishment of humans. Lyra sat at the edge of Eddie's couch, legs folded like vines, glowing faintly in rhythm with her heartbeat. Eddie paced with a mug of instant coffee, trying to look casual but radiating the energy of a man explaining memes to a space goddess. Okay, so, let's start with basic English, he said. When I said I'm not going to eat you, that was me reassuring you. Lyra nodded slowly. Yet you repeatedly mention food when describing affection. You crave attention, you thirst for love, you devour entertainment. It is confusing. Are all humans emotionally malnourished? He blinked. That's actually fair. She smiled, pleased by her analysis. So you are driven by hunger, just not for flesh. He pointed his mug at her. Exactly. Emotional hunger. We want connection. Connection, she repeated. Like vines intertwining. Fascinating. She glanced at his phone buzzing on the table. Your mating communicator is vibrating. Eddie groaned. That's Tinder. Not a mating communicator. The symbol resembles flame, she noted. Do you burn partners during coupling? No. It's just branding. She reached for the device, reading aloud, Emily, 24, says she likes being eaten out. Eddie choked on coffee. Put that down. Lyra tilted her head innocently. So humans do practice external consumption. No, that's slang. It's complicated. She stared at him with academic patience. Explain. He rubbed his face. Look, humans say things that sound sexual, but sometimes they are not. Sometimes they are. Context is everything. So, she said thoughtfully, when you offered to order in, you did not mean importing a concubine. Definitely not. Her glow pulsed with amusement. Your language is a weapon. Yeah, mostly against ourselves. He tried to steer the conversation away. Anyway, what are you doing here on Earth? Lyra straightened proudly. I am a xenobotanist studying interspecies courtship. Your planet emits the highest recorded levels of pheromonal confusion. Eddie blinked. That sounds about right. I intended to observe discreetly, she continued, until your primitive snare assaulted me. Hey, that snare was handcrafted. From adhesive strips and misplaced confidence. Okay, now you sound like my ex. She studied his cluttered living room. You display trophies of consumption. Those are pizza boxes. Ah, ritual feasting remains evident. He sighed, collapsing onto the couch. You know what, sure. We feast. Constantly. On snacks, screens, and bad life choices. Lyra leaned forward, curious. Do humans gain strength from chaos? No, just content. She nodded as if that explained everything. Her glow softened. Your culture seems obsessed with reproduction yet confused about intimacy. That's because we invented dating apps before emotional maturity, he muttered. Dating apps. Digital mate selection algorithms. She perked up. Algorithms? So your species has outsourced attraction to mathematics. Yeah. And it still doesn't work. She tapped her chin. Perhaps your confusion stems from excessive metaphor. You equate food, danger, and affection. We're dramatic like that. You say you're hot when describing attraction. Do you detect thermal anomalies? No, it means someone's good-looking. Then why not simply say that? Because humans like overcomplicating everything. So suffering is recreational. Pretty much. Lyra looked around again, her bioluminescent tendrils brushing against his couch cushions. You live alone. Is solitude part of your feeding cycle? It's part of my budget. Ah, you cannot afford companionship. Ouch. She smiled faintly. Do not worry. Many species struggle with mating rituals. The Thalan males often overwater potential partners. We send bad texts instead. Same energy. Her translator flickered as she observed his TV. What is this Netflix and chill? It appears to involve prolonged eye contact with glowing rectangles. Eddie coughed. That's slang for intimate activity. Ah, copulation by light exposure. No, not literally. It just, he gave up, waving his hands. Forget it. She leaned closer, voice playful. Your species hides its desires behind euphemism. It is charming. We call it shame. He noticed her studying his reflection in the window. Do all humans wear skins that dull their light? Clothes? Yeah, that's modesty. So you conceal mating displays. Efficient for survival. Or just cold weather. Then you are inefficiently evolved, she said brightly. Thanks, that's comforting. Eddie tried to redirect. Anyway, since you're stuck here, maybe I can help you blend in. First lesson, don't mention eating people. Understood. Pause. Is consuming hearts acceptable? Metaphorically, yes. Literally, no. I will note the distinction. He sighed, half laughing. You're taking notes. She revealed a small glowing orb recording every word. Anthropological data collection. Great. My awkwardness is now interstellar research. You should be proud, she said. Your confusion is remarkably consistent. He poured her tea. Try this. It's calming. She sniffed it. It smells like compost. That's chamomile. Ah, fermented vegetation. You drink decay to soothe yourself. You're not wrong. She sipped, eyes widening. It is pleasant. Perhaps our species are compatible after all. In what way? You digest nonsense gracefully. He grinned despite himself. You're not bad at it either. She tilted her head. Was that flirtation? Possibly. Then humans flirt through sarcasm. That's one of our more efficient languages. Her glow warmed. Then allow me to reciprocate. You possess excellent symmetry. He chuckled. You mean I'm hot? Thermally, perhaps. They both laughed, the tension thinning between them. For a long moment, they sat in companionable confusion. Eddie said quietly, You know, for an alien botanist, you're surprisingly human. Lyra replied softly, And for a human predator, you are surprisingly harmless. Thanks, I think. You may yet prove dangerous, she said. I have seen your kitchen. Hey, I'm learning. Learning, she echoed. Perhaps that is your species' true nourishment. He looked up. Learning and laughter. We feed on both. She smiled. Then perhaps I am safe, until dessert. He groaned into his hands. Please stop turning everything into innuendo. I cannot help it, she teased. Your language demands it. As the night deepened, her glow mingled with the soft lamplight, painting the room in hues of blue and gold. She spoke like she was discovering poetry. You humans fear hunger, yet everything you love is about appetite. For touch. For connection. For meaning. Eddie met her gaze, somewhere between awe and amusement. Yeah, he said. We're starving for all the wrong things. She smiled, faintly mischievous. Then perhaps I should feed you. He blinked. Metaphorically. Depends, she said, lips curving into a grin that was far too human. On context. Eddie stared at the table like it was a live bomb. He'd tried to make spaghetti, but half the noodles clung together like mutant worms, and the sauce looked like a crime scene. Lyra sat across from him, glowing faintly turquoise, observing every move with scientific fascination. So this is your courtship ritual, she said, tapping a fork awkwardly. You lure a potential mate with simmered organs. He coughed. It's tomatoes, not organs. She sniffed them delicately. They bleed. They are clans. So am I, she replied, narrowing her eyes. He pushed the plate toward her. Look, it's symbolic, humans share food to bond. Ah, she said. A mutual feeding pact before reproduction. No, just a nice dinner. So not foreplay. Not unless you're Italian. Her translator flickered, trying to process the sarcasm. She twirled the spaghetti with effort, the noodles sliding off the fork. Your food resists capture. Yeah, it's kind of our thing. Your species enjoys struggling even with sustenance, she noted. No wonder you dominate your planet through persistence rather than grace. He chuckled, sipping his wine. We call it survival. We call it denial, she said. You seem to deny hunger, emotion, and logic simultaneously. That's love, baby. She froze, blinking. You refer to me as offspring. It's an expression. You humans use expressions for everything. Why not simply say what you mean? Because that would ruin the fun. Her glow warmed pink, curiosity overtaking analysis. So this date, she said carefully, is an exercise in deception and symbolic consumption. More or less. Then I am performing adequately. You're doing great, he said, smiling. No one's been this honest with me since my tax audit. I will consider that a compliment. Eddie watched her twirl another forkful, slurping one noodle with exaggerated seriousness. Fascinating, she murmured. It stretches but does not sever, like human attachment. That's deep for pasta. Your food teaches philosophy, she countered. Mine simply photosynthesizes. He laughed. You ever tried humor before? My species prefers logical exchanges. Laughter is a primitive bonding mechanism. Exactly. We laugh to survive the absurd. Then you must be immortal. Her light pulsed brighter as she chewed, grimacing. This flavor is aggressive. That's garlic. It burns. It's good for your heart. It's trying to kill me. That's also love. They ate in mutual confusion. Eddie broke the silence. So, what's your species' version of a date? We exchange spores, she said casually. The compatible pairs grow new hybrids. He nearly spat his wine. You just mix DNA like pollen. Naturally. And if it doesn't work? We prune the weaker one. Yikes. Efficiency is beauty. On Earth we just ghost each other. You murder communication instead of partners. Efficient in a different way. She leaned back, inspecting him. Your posture shifts when you attempt humor. That's nervous energy. You fear rejection. Everyone does. Then you all live in perpetual anxiety. Pretty much. Remarkable. Anxiety as a mating signal. Your species is brave. We call it desperate. She smiled faintly. Desperation produces innovation. You sound like a therapist. I am a scientist. Observation is compassion. You might be the first alien to say that. I might be the first alien to mean it. He hesitated, glancing at her bioluminescence. You're glowing again. It is involuntary. Light intensity reflects emotional resonance. So right now, you're feeling amusement and warmth. You sure that's not the garlic? Perhaps both. You are confusingly edible. He froze. Please tell me that's metaphorical. She grinned. Context. He laughed, shaking his head. You know, for someone studying humans, you're doing suspiciously well at flirting. I have read 6,000 dating transcripts, she said proudly. Statistical patterns indicate humor increases compatibility by 40%. So I'm just a test subject. A willing one, apparently. He pointed his fork at her. You realize flirting isn't data collection. Everything is data, she said. Especially this. This what? This moment, she replied softly. You are relaxed. You are smiling. Your eyes dilate when I speak. You forget your fear. He stared at her, heart thudding louder than he'd admit. You're very observant. Observation is how life grows. The silence between them wasn't awkward anymore, it hummed. The air felt alive, charged by her glow and his laughter. You're not what I expected, he said finally. You expected a monster. Something like that. And found a mirror instead. Maybe. She smiled, voice quieter. Do all humans look for themselves in others? Yeah, he said, that's how we decide if we like them. Then you like me. I didn't say that. Your body did. My body's an idiot. So is mine, she said, leaning forward. It keeps learning faster than my mind. He coughed, half laughing. Careful, that sounds dangerously like chemistry. Is that another euphemism? Kind of. Then I welcome it. He grinned. Your trouble. So I have been told. You know, humans have a phrase for this. Do tell. Out of this world. Her glow flickered a bright gold, the alien equivalent of a blush. Flattery detected. You're not denying it. Denial, she said, smirking, is human territory. Eddie leaned back, finally relaxing, finally amused at his own absurd luck. I caught an alien who studies love, thinks dinner's foreplay, and roasts me like a stand-up comic. And yet, she replied, finishing her wine, you still feed me. Guess I'm into risky research. Lyra set her glass down, her glow fading to a soft hue. Eddie sparks, your humor is data I cannot quantify. That's because you can't measure chaos. Then chaos is your mating call. Pretty much, he said. Welcome to humanity. She stood, stretching, her form shimmering like heat haze. You make confusion look desirable. That's our brand. Then perhaps your species is not as primitive as I assumed. That's the nicest thing anyone's said to me all week. Her voice dropped lower, teasing. Tell me, Eddie, when humans say they are hungry for love, how do they feed it? He smiled, deliberately cryptic. With time, patience, and a terrible sense of humor. Then you must be full. Starving, actually. She regarded him thoughtfully, her glow flickering like a heartbeat. Perhaps I can help with that. Careful, he said, smirking, context again. She laughed, a real, melodic laugh this time, and for the first time, Eddie didn't feel like a man who'd caught something beyond his grasp. He felt like someone learning a new language that didn't need words at all. Morning light filtered through the blinds, cutting golden lines across Eddie's cluttered living room. Lyra sat cross-legged on the floor, her glow dimmed to a soft amber, studying an open laptop with the intensity of a god discovering memes. So this is your collective knowledge, she said. You store mating advice beside recipes and cat pictures. Eddie sipped coffee. Yeah, that's the internet. A shrine to everything humans pretend to understand. She scrolled further. There are over 6 million articles about how to make them fall for you. Your species has weaponized uncertainty. We call it romance. You call it suffering. He laughed. Pretty much the same thing. She turned the screen toward him. This video claims love is chemistry. Some people think it's brain chemicals. And others think it's destiny. We can't decide, so we argue about it online. That explains your wars. Hey, not all of them. Some are just Twitter. She studied him, voice curious. You joke even when discussing pain. It's how we survive it. Then laughter is your immune system. Exactly. She smiled faintly. You are very fragile creatures. And you're very literal. Literal keeps us alive. You survived by misunderstanding everything. We call that optimism. Lyra closed the laptop. Last night, you fed me food and information. But you also fed me something else. Sarcasm. Connection. Her tone was steady, almost reverent. It is contagious. Eddie set his mug down, unsure how to respond. Yeah, well, you're easy to talk to. Because I have no shame. Because you don't fake it. Fake what? Everything. We spend half our lives pretending not to care. And the other half pretending we do. Now you're getting it. She leaned closer, inspecting him as if he were a new species again. When I first met you, I thought you were dangerous. Now I see you are only human. That's usually enough to be dangerous, he said quietly. Not to me. Her glow warmed, filling the space between them. You trapped me with a net of rope. Now you trap me with conversation. And you trapped me with curiosity, he countered. We're even. She laughed softly, the sound more human now. Perhaps we should formalize this exchange. A treaty of mutual fascination. Terms. You explain your strange customs, I stop assuming they are foreplay. Deal. But, she added with a teasing smile, I reserve the right to ask for context. That's fair. And you must promise not to eat me. Not literally, anyway. She raised an eyebrow. Context again. For a while they simply sat there, comfortable in the quiet absurdity of it all. The smell of burnt toast filled the room. Lyra gestured to the smoke. Another ritual. breakfast failure. Happens daily. You continue despite repeated defeat. We call that perseverance. I call it delusion. Same difference. Her glow shifted to blue as she grew thoughtful. You said humans feed on emotion. I believe you were correct. You figured that out fast. You emit energy when you care. It fills the air. It alters mine. We call that empathy. It is dangerous. It makes my systems unstable. Welcome to love, he said, half smiling. We all run unstable when it hits. She reached out tentatively, fingers brushing his wrist, faint static passing between them. This sensation, your skin transmits warmth but also chaos. That's coffee and anxiety. It feels alive. It is. Then perhaps I understand why you eat together, why you laugh, why you make everything double-edged. It's your way of staying aware you're still breathing. Exactly, he murmured. Even when it hurts. Her expression softened. Eddie Sparks, I think your species is terrifyingly beautiful. We're mostly terrified. And yet, you choose connection over safety. Sometimes we get lucky. You call this luck? Yeah. You crash landing into my backyard? Definitely luck. For you or me? Both. Lyra looked down at her hand still resting against his. On my world, we merge to share memory. Here, we simply touch. Same idea. Lower bandwidth. I prefer it. Me too. She hesitated. Will I remain your captive much longer? You were never my captive, he said softly. You can leave anytime. And if I stay, then I'll have to feed you breakfast that doesn't try to kill us. She smiled again, brighter than sunlight. Perhaps I will stay. Your chaos suits me. You're the first person to say that like it's a compliment. It is. Chaos breeds life. You humans thrive in disorder. We do our best work right before everything explodes. Then this must be your masterpiece. Eddie grinned. You realize you're probably violating some interstellar research protocol. I'll file the paperwork under field immersion. And I'll file mine under emotional damage. A fair trade. So what happens next, Professor? We continue the experiment. You show me humor, I show you equilibrium. Equilibrium sounds boring. Then I will let you ruin it. He chuckled, then looked at her seriously. You know, Lyra, you came here to study humans, but I think you're learning what we can't explain. That you are creatures of appetite. That we're creatures of connection. And hunger, she added. Always hunger. Yeah, he said. But sometimes it's not for food. Her glow brightened once more, soft and steady. Then feed me, Eddie Sparks, not with flesh or words, but with what makes you human. You sure? Context, she said with a smirk. Always context. He leaned back, eyes half closed, letting out a breath that felt like surrender and relief combined. All right, Lyra. Lesson 1 about humans. When we find something good, we hold on to it like it's about to vanish. And lesson 1 about the Thalin, she replied, we do not vanish, we adapt. The room felt smaller, the silence richer. The glow from her skin flickered gently against the walls like candlelight. He spoke quietly. You know, you were right about one thing. Which thing? We do eat each other. Not literally, but through time, attention, and care. Every person leaves bite marks on someone's soul. Then, she said, you have already begun consuming me. Guess that makes it mutual. She laughed, low and musical. Perhaps your species deserves the chaos it creates. And you love it. I do. It's delicious. He groaned, hiding his grin. There you go again. Double meaning. Always. She smiled mischievously. Then I am learning fast. Scary fast, he said. Humanity should worry. No, she replied softly. Humanity should celebrate. You are a disaster that feels. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then Eddie raised his mug in mock salute. To disasters that feel. Lyra mirrored the gesture with her cup of tea. And to predators who never learned how to bite. They drank, their laughter mingling with the morning light, two incompatible beings somehow making perfect sense.